Well, well, well. It's been a while, but my stream has been brought back, and I'm very pleased to say that I am going to be streaming again. And it's a little chilly tonight, or actually today, this afternoon. And I'm out in the observatory, and we're looking at the daytime moon because I figured if I can stream, I'm going to test it now. So that's what I'm doing. I'm testing it, and I think that's pretty cool. So we'll keep that going for a while, and it's a sort of a test stream, but I do want to check in with folks to see how you're doing, to make sure that you can all see and hear me. So that's what we'll see. That's what we'll check out. I'll just wait for a few more to show up. Make sure you join in the chat. Say hello. This is a daytime lunar stream, just doing it to have some fun with the fact that I have my stream that has been returned to me after it was unceremoniously taken away for reasons that are still elusive. I have no idea why it was taken away. I don't even think YouTube knows why they took it away, but they gave it back, and that's all that matters. So I'm alright with that. Sorry, I just popped the microphone. Let's see where we are now. This stream may not be that long. I just want to get volume levels and everything set up. So some things have changed. I've changed the streaming software. So I'm using something a little more professional. And I have a faster internet connection now. Even more so than before, and made a lot of modifications. This in light of the fact that we now have the radio show on KGRA, which is called SkyTour Radio, and I hope that some of you will join us there. Meanwhile, I'm still poking around here looking at the moon, and I'm really enjoying some of the views because it's actually pretty. Even during the day, the moon looks pretty, you know. And we can actually look at the moon a different way here. Let me just go here, and you can see the layout is different too for the stream. We got a little bit more screen real estate, and this part of the observatory here that's showing in the view I can change its size dynamically in case we need to. If we're looking at something that's you want to shrink it down, we can actually do that. See, we can move it or move it and shrink it down rather. Sorry. So make it really tiny and almost totally unobtrusive, or we can make it really big. You know, not that. That's not what I meant to do. But so we can go like this. We can take this guy right here, and we can make him just a little bigger, or make him huge. See, now you see. Well, now you see everything. Now you see the whole tour of the observatory right here. We got the big telescope right here. We got the camera down here, and we've got two bright. There we go. You can see the back the wedge shape here. We've got the tower and the pier here, and it's up there, and I'm down here, which is great. So now let's see if I can bring that back down to size without destroying everything else. Yeah, and this is about a good spot for it right here. I know that looks odd there, but that's actually a good spot. The other thing I can do, if we wanted to, and I might do this, is I can actually move the entire view over so the view is not compromised at all. All right, and go like right to there. So the view's not compromised. It's all the way to the left. And then that leaves this on its own out in the dark here, because I'm streaming at a certain resolution, and this is the whole screen. So you're not missing anything over here. All right, so that actually might be better. I had that set up that way before, but I changed it. So I am so happy that my streaming is back. And what I'd like to do is make sure that you can hear me. So if you can hear me, just let me know. Say something. And if it's too low, I can maybe alter that. But it does have to it does have to be addressed at some point, I'm sure. But anyway, I'm going to just mess around here. There's not much to do when you're looking at the moon. I can actually get into. Thank you, John, and thank you, Diane. There's not much that you can do from inside here. All right, good, excellent. That's very important. Do you hear the music in the background at all? It should be soft and subtle in the background. Do you hear the music? Very, very faint piano. If it's there, then that's great. If it's not, then I can change it. So let me know. Okay. All right, good. That tells me something. How about now? I'm just setting all my levels, and then once the levels are set, we are going to be done. We're not going to be changing them anymore. I should actually use a bit of a louder song, probably, just to test this out. So that's what I'll do. I'll just grab just a song that's a little bit louder for now. Let's try this one. Oh, I see what's wrong. Hang on. I had a little problem there. Okay. You should hear that now. That should be something that you can hear. If not, let me know. A few things have changed. I actually added a new. All right, thank you, Diane. Is it overwhelming? Because I can adjust levels easily. Once it's set, I'm going to leave it. Because then, unless the song gets really loud, then I'll have to do something about it, I guess. But I think this should work. Hopefully, I think that'll work. And when we finally get a beautiful night, I'm going to just move the moon a little bit because I want to. Look at that limb. Oh yeah, look at that. There's some craters over there. Nice. Oh yeah, we got Copernicus coming in. Beautiful. Nice, nice. I just returned from Boise, Idaho yesterday, and I had to do a talk out there, believe it or not, at a music festival, of all places, a music festival. Hey, thank you so much. Yes, I'm back. I'm just very happy to be back. You should be able to hear that music, by the way, right? Can you hear the music? Reasonable. It's not too bad. It's sort of in the background, subtle, right? It's not blasting over my voice, right? I think I have the mixes here, set, but if it's not, I want to make sure I change it because I don't want it to be overwhelming. So just let me know when you can. I just really enjoy it. Okay, good. Thank you so much. If it gets loud, I'll alter it. It's not a big deal. I can turn it up or down. But again, like I said, it's new. Thank you, Diane. And tracks. It's a it's a new software for streaming that I'm using, and I've literally changed everything in the observatory. So good, and I'm glad it's not overwhelming. And so right now we're just looking at the moon. I've got new cameras in here. They're actually this is the camera. Okay, these are actually Wi-Fi cameras, and I want to figure out how to hook up the Wi-Fi cameras into my software so you can actually see the Wi-Fi view from within the stream. It'll be pretty cool. And that should work pretty well. I'm pretty confident that's going to work. So let's see now. Okay, let me just move my thing here. I want to make this sure this is good. That's good there, and that's good here. Make sure my size of the window is good. That's good. Okay. I was just maximizing the size of the window. The layout is a little different, by the way. So I have me over in the corner that you see there. Okay. And then that image shows right on the screen where it normally does, except that you see a black border on the right side. That's intentional. That's the full screen. You're not losing any screen space, and the only thing that sits over the image is the SkyTour LiveStream for Monday 26 March 2018. That's the only thing that sits over that. So this is good. And I like having you be able to see the full screen, so I made that modification. And this also, on this right side, this right side, it'll give us areas on the right side of the screen to put up any messaging from other potential people who would like to discuss things with us. I also have some other data, okay, like this. I'm putting up a lot of new data because when we start talking about stars again, we're gonna be spending time bringing up stars and talking about them. And when we do that, I'd like to be able to show you the temperatures and the colors. So I actually did some legwork in the background here to try and get this up and running so you can see that. So these are just little previews of what's to come. Okay, I'm going to be putting all these different parts in there, but I will do that actually right now. I will move these over to this side where they will be kind of on the edge. All right, and this way they will be out of the way, but they'll be out of the way, but they'll be right. They'll be appropriately placed. Okay, so I'll do that now. See, I'm doing this live with you right now. You're in my observatory, working with me and doing a nice little setup stuff. Some nice setup stuff. And I don't mind doing that with you, as long as you don't mind doing it with me. All right, we're gonna put this. I'm gonna put this here, and move this guy over. It's also kind of chilly in here, as you can tell by me wearing this sweatshirt. I'm not trying to be the arrow, okay, but it's just kind of interesting. I'm trying to go back and forth with chat too. Right now I'm not looking at the chat because I can't get to it when I have this running. I have to pop out of this for a minute to do that. Being that I'm on the moon, that gives me that ability to do that, because we don't have anything pressing to see on the screen. I'm leaving the lower right free right now because the lower right actually is where the little avatar is that I have, that avatar being my little image. So I'm gonna leave that free right now and pull this over. There we go. Okay, so you remember our stellar classifications, I think. O, B, A, F, G, K, M. There's actually a few more, but those are the primary ones. There's some ones for some very different kinds of stars, and there's a white dwarf designation as well. But we'll get to all that stuff eventually. I'm just enjoying the fact that I have some time to spend with you out here as I control the telescope. I checked that. That looks good. You notice on the lunar limb, okay, I'm gonna show you this actually, because this is something I talk about on P&K when I go on with Keith or whatever. If you look on the limb, one of the things you can actually see here. Okay, when I pop in. Okay, and this is interesting. Right at that very edge, right at that very limb, you can actually see mountains on the moon. And there is a way, knowing the distance of the moon and measuring the height of those mountains off that relative, radius that you see there, you can actually measure the height of those mountains and get the actual height in miles. And we can do that because we know the distance to these. I think that's pretty good. All right, it's a good thing to try. And we'll do that at some point actually, and do some lunar forays like that. I'm just gonna move the telescope a little bit. Okay. Now our air here is a little disturbed, as you can tell, but I will try to focus it too as well, because it might be a little bit of a problem, but I'm not sure. Hey Daryl, glad that you came back. I just popped into the chat here to see what's going on. I appreciate it. Yeah, so this, what I was saying, Daryl, I don't know how long you were here, but this is the new layout that I'm using with the new software for streaming. So I'm pretty excited to try this out and get it to work. And I was talking to them, which you heard, I think, about measuring the height of lunar mountains and stuff by doing it this way on the edge of the moon, on the limb, which is an approximation because you don't know how close it is to you versus how far over the edge of the moon. I mean, anywhere between here and here, you'll see the uplift. So we'd have to know what that feature is basically to then calculate what's at the very edge. Because if you do it like too far this way, well then your numbers are going to be low. If you do it too far this way, it's going to be low. This is the only way you're going to get it right, if they're right at the very edge. So we'll see. Boy, look at that. The air is bouncing around, huh? Very unstable. But no worries. No worries. All right, let me shut off my star things here, because we're not going to look at those tonight or today. It's actually pretty cold in here, but it's okay. So let me tell you where I was. I was actually, when I was in Boise this past week, I was speaking at a, the can. When I was in Boise speaking this past week, I actually spoke on unidentified flying objects, which is obviously an interest of mine because of my exoplanet study. Knowing exoplanets means you literally will come to a conclusion that there are life forms elsewhere, but whether they're here or not is the big mystery. And so we talk about that and go through that. But I was with a guy named Alejandro Rojas, who was with Open Minds, a good friend of mine, and he also helps run the International UFO Congress with Karen Brard, who is his girlfriend, and they put on really a heck of a conference. It's the biggest UFO conference in the United States, and so they were with me, and they were actually, Alejandro's the one that asked if I wanted to come out because he thought that it might be an interesting thing to have him and I and this one other guy named Ben Hansen, who is the host of the past TV show that was called Fact or Faked on the Sci-Fi Channel. Ben's a good friend, and we all three went and did a UFO talk. Talk about technology in UFOs and how to find them, ways in which to research them. So we did that, and our talk out in Boise at this music festival, you would think that's kind of an odd place for this, and I did too. Except what I found was that most of the people that were there were actually extremely into what we were doing, and they were very, very, very passionate about it. It was a very interesting set of facts we uncovered out there, right, about younger folks, people in their 20s. And so when we were out there doing this talk, it started slowly at first. When we started going, it was like 3/4 of the chairs were filled in our meeting room. And, we didn't expect that many because, after all, who wants to talk about UFOs at a music festival? Well, the people started to come in, and we were only about 5 minutes into our talk when the entire room was filled. Every chair was taken, and people just kept coming in and coming in and coming in, saying, "Is this where the UFO talk is? Is this where the UFO talk is?" And we found out that there were many people interested in it, so much so that we were supposed to go an hour, and we went 2 hours. And the room was standing room only. Every chair was taken, and there were tables all around the perimeter of the room where they put, drinks and other things, and people just moved those and sat on those tables. So we had what could have been, there were supposed to be maybe 40. That was how many chairs they had, about 40 or 45 chairs. And we had close to 100 people packed into that room, and they stayed for 2 hours. And they were asking very intelligent questions, and it was the coolest thing. So we discovered that there actually is a lot of really good and high interest in this, So I'm pretty happy about that, I'm looking at the chat now. Oh, hello, Jenny. I see you are here. That's good. Jenny Miko has joined us. I'm pretty happy. I know that it's still a work day, so I don't expect people at 5 o'clock at my time in the afternoon to actually be able to get into this and earlier across the United States. There'll be more people when it's really truly night. But I have to say, it's a little chilly. One of the things I'm waiting for here is see, right around now is when the international flights leave, and I'm waiting for one of the international flights to cross in front of the moon. And if it does, we're going to see it. I think that would be the coolest thing. And there's one flight coming now, but he's not going to get to the moon. He's higher. He's crossing above the moon. And so this one won't be it. But I think this is par for the course. But you know what? I'll be able to stick with you here and see if we see anything. I'm excited about it anyway. So I'm testing everything in here again. Like I said to those who just come in, that this is new software. This is a new process I'm using in the observatory, and I'm hoping that it's going to work. Well, so far it has. And Daryl, you're talking about Thomas Jefferson. Actually, Thomas Jefferson is the one that reported or said something about a UFO. I think that's pretty cool. And I didn't know that. Okay, with all my supposed UFO knowledge, I didn't know that, did I? So you got me on that one. I had no idea. I was just scrolling back up, and yeah, Jen, this is a daytime moon, so it has a little blue in the background. I can adjust some of the settings to give it just a little bit of a slightly darker look. Okay, but when I do, see what happens? It actually it darkens up the moon a little bit, but it also makes it a little dim, and that's so I'm doing a trade-off. I could also make it brighter as well, and then you see that it goes too bright, So I think that maybe this is probably the best right there, right around. Well, say that, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. But you can see some really interesting craters. I really like looking at the moon. Again, I'm controlling a telescope with the iPad, which is really kind of cool. I wish the iPad had heated cover, but it doesn't. Here's something else too that you might be interested in. When we looked at, when I was getting my degree in astronomy, one of the things we looked at was, we looked at the moon craters, and this was like a standard thing we did. We could take the shadows of those craters that you see in the moon, and based on knowledge of distance of the moon and so forth, and the size of the craters and the elevation of the sun, we could actually calculate the depth of the crater to the floor of the crater, or to the reasonable floor of the crater, based on what we see there. I mean, it's pretty good. I was trying to move the camera, but you just can't move it too much without it getting blown out by this bright light up here. But you see where we have that crater right there in the middle. Okay, that's a Copernicus crater, and when we look at that, and we can actually measure the depth of Copernicus using the shadows, and maybe we'll do that in a future stream. Maybe when it's not as cold, because I'd have to show you some stuff on the screen, and my hands are so cold right now I can't really I love it. My hands are so cold I can't really hold things to hold the mouse properly to show you these things, but I like this is really pretty though. I mean, I really enjoy this stuff, frankly. Okay, I'm gonna try something now. Alright, no, just hold on a sec. There we go. Now if I move that down like that. Yes, Jen, I got the account back. I'm so happy too. And it was not back last night. It was back this morning. So that's why I'm playing the can. It's just a great music for comeback. So I'm happy about that. Happy. Yes, sirree. Okay, now I'm looking at. I realize I'm kind of all over the place, but this is just because I've got a whole console of stuff and I'm trying to put together and make sure it all works right. Alright, so I'm doing that. Okay, let's see now. Yeah, you got warm temperatures down there in Texas. Yes, you do. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the warm temperatures in Arizona. Because when I'm there, I'll be able to do this pretty much if I can get rid of the batteries, which I can. I got a ability to get an electrical adapter for the camera. I can actually make it so that the stream basically goes all night long. Because now, I only stop because I get cold. And when I get cold, I get tired, and I can't trust myself with hundreds of pounds of equipment over my head. Yeah, thanks, Jen. That's just really helpful to hear that. Okay, she's taking out her swimsuit soon. Yeah, well, out here, I mean, we take out our swimsuit to move them to storage. Because we're not getting there. We're not going to be in the water soon. But we'll see. I don't know. In any case, I'm overall, I'm thinking that this is pretty this is pretty successful. This software, this layout. And as I said, for those that are coming in, I've got extra little things that can show up on the screen now and then as we talk about different types of stars. We've got O, B, A, F, and then the GKM stars. Okay, so we're gonna be able to show all that later. I apologize. I thought I was making those visible. I was actually hitting the lock, which is so stupid. Okay, but now they're visible. See, there they are. O, B, A, F. I showed them before. And so there it is. So we have that, and finally the M's. So when we talk about stars, we'll be able to show these things, and that's where I'm going with that. No problemo. Okay, and I think my screen's I have a little magnification thing going on the screen that I have to adjust because I'm not seeing the full screen yet. So I'm going to be adjusting that here in a minute. Oh, let's see. Let me go to here and say, let's see. Don't worry about me. I'm just hanging in there. Okay. Reset. Is that right? Oh, that's not what I wanted. Okay, I messed that up. Let's do it again. Yeah, that's too big. That ain't the right size. So I'm gonna fix that. Don't worry, these are all little things that'll come clean. Oops. All right, now. Alright, well, I don't want to mess too much up. Isn't this great? You use a new piece of software and, you start monkeying with it while live. That's a great idea. Actually, yes, the moon is ovoid. I know it kind of looks funny there, but it actually is more oblate than it is round. And the reason for that is because of the way when it was created. The moon's material has a strange property, and that is that when meteors would strike the moon in our early history, the actual the lunar soil that was thrown up into the air would actually end up being propelled around the other side of the moon, and this was something that we've talked about before, but it's actually kind of a neat reason why when you look at the moon, you actually see that the far side is actually thicker than the near side, the crust. And so that's the reason for that, of course, is because when the moon was pounded with this stuff would be thrown up in the air, but the Earth was still molten. As the moon was partially molten, the Earth was partially molten, and that the radiated energy, the radiated infrared and other energy coming from just the Earth tended to push that stuff over the top of the moon and into the backside where it settled down and cooled. When it did that, that's one theory, the moon actually ended up with a thicker backside crust. And over time, what happens is this. The moon was round at first, right? And then over time, that backside crust gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay, so then the moon, instead of being round, it's kind of like that. It's sort of like pushed out a little bit on one side. So the moon's not round. It's sort of oblate. Okay, and that oblate shape is the reason why the tidal locking occurred the way it did. Part of the reason why the tidal locking occurred the way it did. And but the heaviest, the most massive part of the moon is far away from us. It's not here. It's not on our side. It's on the other side of the moon. So it could have switched the other way. It could have gone where the heaviest part of the moon, the most massive part, is facing us and then locked to us as it goes around us. Okay, but it ended up being that the lightest part was facing us. Now, it could have gone either way. Like I said, it was just that balance point. And the balance went that way. It went on the side of the light side being toward us, the least massive side. So that's kind of a little history of the moon there. It's pretty cool. And as I said, I'm trying to, while we're talking, I'm trying to figure out all this, these things. I actually messed around with the sizing of the image, and I saw something happen, which I don't know why this happened. But I'll fix it. I'll figure it out, and we'll go from there. Let's see. Because I know that I had a black square there, and I like that black, you know, on the right side of the screen. I like that black wall there. So don't mind me as I figure this out. Let me try one thing. Let me try another thing here. I'm going to turn off the moon for a second. I'm going to try and I'm going to try something else right now. Oh, I see what I did. Okay, well, I have to remove it, so I'm going to leave that. Don't worry, moon's coming back in a sec. I'm getting a faint electrical smell in here. I don't know what that is, but it's from the computer side, so. Yeah, the moon is pretty in the daytime. Can't deny that. But you could say oblate, you could say ovoid, you could say not spherical. It's okay. You say oblate, I say ovoid. Yeah, exactly. All right. Do you guys notice any lag at all? Are you lagging anywhere? Because I'm watching my stream health, and it's saying that I'm doing just fine. But I need to hear from you, because you're the ones that are watching. And that would be helpful if you just let me know. Great. Okay, track says no lag. Fantastic. That's all good. Oh, seats are back. It's not bad. The other thing is, my Wi-Fi cameras are actually motion detecting, so every time I move in here, I get a buzz in my phone, and you know, because it's a buzz. I think that's funny. My buzz, my phone buzzes in my pantses because it's got something going on there. Okay, let's see now. All right. So I'm still trying to figure this out. Bill will be able to help me, I'm sure, but something happened, and I don't know what that was that caused it to change sizes on me. It was a key thing I touched. I don't remember what it was. I don't know what that was, so now I don't know. I didn't know. I do not know. I've made it sort of an oval moon. It's kind of, it's a waxing gibbous, so it does have this little shape, you know, where it's on the outside edge. It's, you know, Not full yet, but it's on its way. So I have to find out what it is I've done, because I just don't know what I've done. I have no idea what I did to make this happen. Really bad. Okay, Trax, thanks a lot for dropping back in. And we'll be starting up in earnest, of course, once we get everything straightened out here. I just had to make it. I just had to see it work. That's all. I had to see it work. And for anyone wondering why it happened, your guess is as good as mine. Okay, YouTube just decided that, you know, I need to just be punished for something I didn't do. Yes, the blue stick on the moon top. Yeah, that's actually an artifact actually from the camera, and I know that is a. I know that that's a problem, and that's not a good problem. That's actually indicating that something's not quite right. Let me just get up here. What the hell? What's going on here? Why is that? Oh, I see what I did. There we go. Okay. I figured out what was causing the image to be slightly zoomed. As you can see, it's been changed. And that, the reason for it was your host for SkyTour LiveStream, that's me, was stupid. I accidentally pressed the record button on the camera. I must have reached back to magnify the image or something, and that's what happened. And these blue sticks, these blue lines you see there, are a artifact on the camera that I will see if I can adjust out. All right, so let me do that now. Let me maximize my view so I can see it. And now let's go back and try it. I can see them now, so let's see if I can get rid of them. Sorry about that. Well, this is interesting. It's not on my camera. It's on the screen. So that's something that's on the screen, or not. I'm sorry, on the camera. It's something that came across because of the black magic connection to the camera. So what do we got now? Okay, let's stop doing that. All right, hang on. Let me just adjust this. See if I can adjust that. All right. And I think they're gone. Some across the top there, some of that noise. Yeah, that's let me try another thing here. Moon's gonna go away for a second. All right. Yeah, okay, still there. I've seen that before, and I don't know what causes it. And I have to, that's another thing to investigate, because that's not good, obviously. All right, I'm going to do another thing here. I'm going to focus the controller. See, during the day I can show you stuff. The controller for the telescope is here, and what I can do is I have an autofocus system on here, so I can actually check out the focus, which is what I'm going to do. Okay. We'll move over to the limb. A little more. Okay. Now I'm going to focus a little more. There we go. Look at that. Wow. That's nice. now you can see those lunar mountains really nicely. They look really nice now. That's pretty nice. That's beautiful. So, wow, I like it. That looks nice. That's pretty. That's pretty. That's pretty. Oh, hey there, D. How are you? Thanks for joining us and checking us out. Just a test stream here, but I'm noticing that we're getting a really pretty moon, which is really nice. And I got my critical focus on here. So, and this is actually I think I go a little more, little higher. Yeah, that's about the limit right now. Well, it is the limit with this particular telescope. No, I don't have a cold. I'm just, I am cold. I don't have a cold. I'm cold. Um, and so that's the only issue I have. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually gonna go and get my a coat because I came out here to do this test. And hey, Ron, I came out to do this test and I didn't even put on a regular coat. I just put on like a sweatshirt. So I'm gonna put this on hold. Everything is gonna happen. Keep going. I'll be right back. Yes, Bill. Here I come. Here I come. Here I am. Yes, it's just a little cold. What can I tell you? Now I'm back to winter, it seems. Hey, what the heck? Did my battery die? I guess so. Oh, that might have been the dead battery. Okay, good. Let's change that battery. Sorry about that. I feel like a dummy for not checking that before I went in. What can I say? Let's put this in. Get that going. Ta-da! Oh, it's looking... That's pretty good for a daytime moon. That's not bad at all. Awesome. Yeah, I know, Bill. Thank you. Which open mines? I mean, what we did out in Boise, Idaho? Ah. Was it from the stream that I did, or was it actually? Because I don't think our presentation was actually recorded when we were out there. I wish it was. I wish I could have streamed it, but I didn't have my ability back yet. You and Ben Hansen. Well, from the radios thing we did. Yeah, that's right. That was our main talk, but no one recorded that. Huh. I don't understand that. Huh. Man. Hey there, high speed, low drag. That's funny. Oh, man. He did? Where? How? Bill's telling me that Alejandro recorded something. Was that our talk? The talk where we had that full standing room only? Because we were wishing that somebody did. Huh. I don't know what that was. Okay, anyway. No, I know I know who you are, Ron. I can't do anything right now with freezing cold hands. I can barely use the mouse. So, what's going on here? Bill's trying to call me. Let me see if I can bring him in here. Let me tell you do this.
Good afternoon, Mr. Snowblow Cube thing over there.
What are you talking about?
It looks like you're freezing over there.
I am cold.
I was going to say snow globe, but it's actually...
Snow globe. Oh, that's funny. Igloo.
The dome globe.
Yeah, the igloo, yeah.
Well,
you're on, I think, does this mean you're on with everybody now? Because I have you coming in through Skype?
Yes.
Okay, well, good.
By the way, it is great to see you back streaming again.
Oh, it's great to see my telescope streaming live finally. I'm excited about this.
It looks really nice, the moonshot right now.
It does. I actually kind of like that. You know, I'm really liking that. I'm very happy that it's looking so nice. It's looking.
So, are you planning to do anything tonight, or is this just right now, and then you're going to be streaming whenever it's clear at night for the remainder of the week?
I'm going to be, well, since the moon is coming out like this, the only thing to look at our clusters and things like that. They're the best thing to look at right now when the moon is so bright. So I'm gonna try and look at some of those if I can deal with the cold. But we'll see. I mean, it was actually pretty nice earlier, so that was pretty good.
Did I lose you?
No, you didn't lose me.
Now, I'm gonna share my audio. I'm only gonna play you a little clip because this is going on the air tonight, and I'll get in trouble if I play it too much because it's not even been on the air yet. But this is what I'm telling you with Alejandro.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play a little segment because I already added commercials. I'm gonna share my sound, and everyone that's watching on his SkyTour LiveStream right now. Mark, just tell them what's going on this weekend before I do this.
Yeah, I did a little, but I will. I was out in Boise at Tree Fort Music Festival, and we were asked to come out and actually do a UFO presentation. Now, Alejandro was the one who was presenting first and presented with the opportunity first, and then he asked me and Ben Hansen. Ben Hansen is the former host of Fact or Faked on the Sci-Fi Channel. Ben's a good friend, been friends for years, and then Alejandro got me to come out. He wanted me to come out too, and so the three of us did a UFO talk. And basically, Alejandro was moderating a panel of Ben and I, and it was pretty cool because we actually got to talk about some really neat technology in the UFO world.
Cool. Well, you know what? I think this might be that audio from that. I am not sure, but you will let us know when I play it. So I'm going to share my sound.
Okay.
And let's see if we can get this to work. We all know Skype has had its issues.
Right.
All right. I'm going to play it. I don't know where it is. So just give me, bear with me. And everyone on Skype LiveStream that's watching, just bear with me. I'm going to try to find the segment.
And if yes. Okay, I think that's actually. Well, you got to stop sharing your sound now because I'm echoing.
Okay, hold on.
Okay, and you got that. Okay, yeah, that's actually that is our talk in there, and I didn't know that he was recording it, so that's cool. That's very cool. But yeah, that was the one where we were indoors, and that's the one where we had not only a full room, but there was standing room only, and everybody was sitting on the tables around the room, and they were just packed in there like sardines. And it was the only, well, as far as I could see, there were a lot of talks there that weekend, but I didn't see any talks that had that many people in it, other than the keynote, which was in a much bigger room, and that was interesting. So, maybe, it's pretty interesting. Maybe that's, maybe that means something for the 20-somethings who love to, look at UFO cases and so forth. That's pretty neat.
Now, you're also going to be appearing in a couple of weeks at the Ozark Mountain UFO conference, correct?
Yeah, that's 13th through the 15th of April. I'll be down in was it Fayetteville is where you're flying to, but where's the I forget the name of the town, where it is. But yes, that's down there. Oh, where is that? Arkansas, yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And then party time in Pine Bush.
Oh, at Billapalooza. Yes, there's Billapalooza that's taking place in at Pine Bush, and we're going to have a lot of people coming to Billapalooza, including some of the people here in this chat that are here now. That's right.
Jenny's flying in on Thursday.
Yep.
And should we break her the news? Who's going to get Jenny?
Oh, you can tell her.
Jenny, Mark D'Antonio will be picking you up at the airport when you arrive. So you see Mark, get a good look at him, because he's going to be the one standing there waiting for you to come out the terminal.
And I'll be very impatient if she doesn't come right out. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
You could always put a UFO, like a sign with UFO.
UFO nuts this way.
So it's gonna be so cool to have Jenny.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, and then you have something going on pretty much like every month from here on out for a while, right? What's going on in June?
June, I'm going to Florida to talk to speak at a meeting on UFOs, a big meeting on UFOs, and then I'm going to be doing our live radio show. SkyTour Radio will be live in the studio down there that's been offered to us to use, and we're going to do that. And I'm going to have my in-studio guests at that point, which will be Rebecca Borneman, who is the woman who wrote the theme song for our radio show, and her husband Dan, who are not coming on just because they wrote the song. That's just a little tribute. But they're coming on because they have had an incredible UFO sighting. So much so that they've drawn diagrams. They've spent years putting together these diagrams to help keep that memory exact and not exaggerated. They want to make sure that the right information gets out. So I'm really fond of the two of them. They're very good. So I'd like to. I'm going to have them live in the studio in June. Then July, I'm going to be doing teaching at the MUFON Symposium down in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, for a few days, and then August is Norway. We're going to go to Norway to a conference there, which is going to be interesting. And then September, I think, is free.
Finally.
Yeah, and then the end of October, I go to Arizona on the 26th, and I don't get back until November 6th or so, because I'm going out there to do the Phoenix MUFON meeting, and then I'm going to be teaching in the boot camp, which occurs later in November, but I'm staying through.
Cool. Yeah. Now, as far as TV appearances, any word on upcoming What on Earth or NASA's Unexplained, and something you did about a couple months ago with someone for a new show that's going to be airing, if you can let that out a little bit.
Yeah, I think I can now. I mean, as far as What on Earth and NASA's Unexplained files, they when they start doing the new season, I'll hear. But the other thing that's cool is that I did do something that Bill is alluding to, and now I have to tell you about. No, I'm just kidding. And that is that I went to Boston. They originally they wanted me to come out to LA, but they didn't. They ended up not having the money to do it because they waited to the last minute. That's how these productions are. They always wait to the last minute, unfortunately. But when the crew came to Boston, they had me come to Boston, and what I did was a episode called Aliens Among Us for a new show that is being rebooted from an old show, and that old show was called In Search Of, with Leonard Nimoy, who played Spock in the original TV series Star Trek, of course. And in this new reboot of the series, Zachary Quinto is playing, or who plays Spock in the new movies, is going to be the host.
That is so cool.
So I went up to Boston to do one of the episodes for that show. Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, that should be fun. You know, and so other than that, you know, I don't know what else there is, but I have SkyTour Radio, which is really cool, right? On Sundays from 9 to 10 that you produce for me through KGRAradio.com, and that's just a great deal of fun.
And of course, the wonderful job that Amanda does on and off the air.
I can tell you right now, okay, I have never seen someone who works harder than Amanda Curran. I'm not saying that just because, you know, I just wanted to keep doing it. I'm saying it because it's absolutely true.
It is.
She put together Facebook sites without being prompted to, without me asking her to. She did it to help drive the business and, you know, to get people to, you know, hear about us and to see more about us. And it works. You know, I think it's amazing. And she's really good at it. Very good at it.
She also does a tremendous job during the show in the chat room at KGRA, posting information, photos, links, etc.
Yeah.
She really does a great job. And
she's also, remember, she's integral to SkyTour LiveStream out here, you know. So she's very, very important to what we do here. And, you know, when we talk about looking at the moon, all right, or whatever, it doesn't matter. She's in the chat room out here, and she's making sure that I can see it and what's going on. Like today's during the day, so I have the chat room up. And Daryl just said something funny in the chat, and it's true. He says she thinks she's learning astronomy by osmosis, and that's true. She is. She's amazed, you know. And when she gets something right, she goes like she can't believe she got it right.
But
that's very funny.
When you first started coming on these streams, whether it was with I or with he, Amanda immediately loved being part of it because she was so interested in astronomy and she was learning, she was absorbing all the information. This is something that she truly does enjoy, and she wants to learn more about. So now she's working with someone directly with all this knowledge that she can just keep going and learning. She's loving every minute of it.
Yeah, she's doing a good job too.
She is.
She's doing a really good job.
And,
you know,
hopefully we can get her here for Pine Bush. I'm hoping.
Yeah, you know, I hope you can.
Yeah,
you know, I hope you can, because she would have a good time.
Yes.
Yep. Yes, sirree.
How's everything going with the FX models, the craters?
Well, yeah, the craters. I actually took a giant box of craters out to Boise, Idaho, and you know, laid them out and showed people what we were doing and how we were doing them. And they had other people doing 3D printing there. These are 3D printed craters, you know, and they looked at my craters and they said, "Wow, these are beautiful," and they were actually far better than the others that they didn't have craters, but they were far better than other prints. And they were kind of trying to pick my brain to see how I got it looking so good. And I said, well, you know, I've got 40 years of model making, 30 years of model making behind me, so I learned techniques to get rid of those little jaggies, because these things have like jagged edges. They every layer is a different build, on these 3D prints. They start as a layer and they build a layer on top of a layer, and when they do that, you can actually see the separation between those layers, especially on like a slope of a hill. If you have a slope of a hill, you're going to see it doesn't just go up. It doesn't go sliding up smoothly like this. It goes up and over, up and over, up and over, up and over to make that climb like a stair step. And you have to get rid of that stair step in the final product, or you're just going to have these stair steps. And those don't really look that good. So we got rid of those. We get those out of there, and we do it through a combination of filling those grooves with other material that doesn't compromise the data, and then using solvent to soften all the filling that we've done to just make it look just about just perfect, and it comes out looking really good. And,
I'm interested also in your book. It's going to be incredible when you finally release this book. And
yeah, won't it be?
Any word on when that can happen? Is it going to be by fall, summer, maybe? I mean, you're going to be really busy too.
Well, I realize that, but the book's done. So now it's just a matter. I actually have to edit the book, which means that I have to reread my own book, and I can tell you that that's just that's the daunting prospect. You know, I got to reread my book, and I've got to edit sentences and change stuff that may not make sense. Yeah, and that's the only thing left. Other than that, it'll be ready for publication as soon as I get to that. And once I do that, we're ready. We can
You
go.
know, what would be great too, for those that may want to get an accompanying thing is maybe you can put it on Facebook or um, FX Models if you do a calendar.
Oh, I mean with all my space art that I did?
Yes.
Yeah, because
Well,
I did a lot of artwork for the book too, of my own, because there wasn't anything out there that was what I wanted, and what there was stuff that and it was fair enough. I mean, people wanted to be paid for their work, and I totally agree with that. I don't like I want to be paid for my work, right? Who doesn't? But I just wanted to make sure that you know that if you're going to get paid for your work, make sure it's your work, right? So I did my own things, because like part of what I was talking about in the book was these different types of stars. Like these guys, like an O star is like this guy. It's a 40,000 degree Kelvin star, and at the other end of the scale, right, we have the M stars. Okay, and the M stars are these little guys that are only 3,000 degrees Kelvin. They're bright, they're red. These are the colors, all right. And when you see these different types of stars, okay, then you want to find a star that looks like that out there in the image world. So you start looking and you realize, they're not really there's not really any there, and so I end up starting to make landscapes of my own with the different stars as well, like as their suns, and I realized I got to keep doing that. So I ended up going all the way down the scale and uh, getting the stuff I needed.
Mark, what is the name of the book?
It's called
Because
The Populated Universe. The
the
Populated
Populated
Universe.
Universe Calendar for 2019.
I like it. Sounds like a cool thing.
I tell you, I think a lot of people would enjoy it. And you can put, promotional thing there for the SkyTour LiveStream and the
Yeah.
show, and even you can give out some limited edition autographed calendar copies. It'd be a nice companion with the book, I think.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I didn't think of that, Bill. Thank you. Good idea. And Bill wants 10%. I can see it. I'm kidding. No, but, plus the other thing is, Alejandro and Karen at the International UFO Congress will sell these things for me and put them out there. People just love them.
KGRA.
And KGRA would, of course, too. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't play with my audio because it's set for the programs, and I don't want to mess with my board because I have it at a perfect quality for being broadcasting on KGRA.
Right.
So right now, that's my priority, is to make sure when Mark is on the air and all these other shows, I can't overmodulate my mic, because then it's a pain to get my mixer to be precise.
Well, you're in the desktop audio then, right?
Well, I don't know. I'm not using OBS. You are.
Yeah, but I just turned up the desktop audio, so maybe you're louder now.
Well, you can remember there's that slider bar.
I just used it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think maybe I put you up to around my level.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Who was complaining? Was it Daryl? Was Daryl complaining?
Actually, Daryl also does a great job coming into KGRA chat and adding his knowledge into everything that's going on discussion during your show,
Absolutely. I know that. In fact, because Amanda tells me that she's learned so much, not only just from what we talk about on the air, but from Daryl too, because Daryl knows an awful lot. Daryl's, he's a very generous guy, and sorry, Daryl, I don't want to embarrass you. Oh, poo.
You know something? It might be interesting to get Daryl on as a potential guest in the future for SkyTour, as a fellow astronomer.
Yeah, I mean, we actually had, Daryl doesn't know this, but Amanda's made a list, and we've checked it twice. And we have a list of people on there that we want to try and get, and Daryl is on that list. Just because.
Oh, I think that would be a great thing to get him on.
Yeah. So, but that's, He says, I can bore you to death. Well,
Well,
I can talk you through it, Daryl. Trust me.
I have to say, KGRA has been getting input about Mark's show, and it's all been positive. And this is why this is the main conjecture of what people are saying. It's great to have a science-based astronomy show on KGRA as an alternative to all the paranormal, whether it's regarding UFOs or ghosts or whatever else in the paranormal field. It's a nice balance to have you on, and also before you, Commander Cobra, who who's a veteran, and he brings on a lot of people that either he knows through the service or he tries to get them because they have a background in the military, as well as he covers paranormal subjects as well. But it's a great alternative to have that night where people could tune in and listen to both you and Commander Cobra.
Yeah, Cobra's wonderful. I like him a lot, and I enjoy being on his show. And by the way, just so you know, I mean, and those of you who watch and listen, you know this. The last Sunday of every month, I'm on Commander Cobra's show, and I think that last Sunday is this Sunday, correct?
Well, actually, you were supposed to be on...
Oh, that was yesterday.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, and I mentioned to you that I couldn't be on, so you took care of that. Okay.
Yes.
Right. I was flying at that time. I was in the air.
And I have a surprise for you.
For what?
Commander Cobra's coming to here Friday and Saturday night too.
No way.
Yep, he's coming to stay.
Oh, that's gonna be cool. All right, that's great. We're gonna get to see Commander again. He, I think I told you, Commander Cobra, very busy man, test pilot, lives in Maine, working at a airport up there actually, and he came down to one of my talks down in Massachusetts from Maine to see me talk, and I thought that was pretty cool because I had to do a conference there in Massachusetts, and he drove down to listen to my talk. That's quite a drive.
It's interesting because he has that military background. He was in the military for over a decade.
Yeah.
It's incredible, the loyalty, the honor, the integrity of these individuals.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable what kind of an individual he is. He's got a heart of gold.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
He really is, and I'm really honored to be his producer. I mean, from the get-go, and he's always there, and he's so kind. He's got a great heart, and his son is in the military too. He's
really?
Based. Yeah, he's not too far. I can't really get into specifics because of his background.
Yeah, it's fine.
Identity, but it's going to be a great thing to have him here. And remember, now this is the problem. I got to see how this is going to work out, because you're going in June to Florida, right? You said?
Yes.
Okay. Remember, he's got that air show going on in June.
I just got to know when.
That's exactly, because you and I are supposed to go and stay at his home and participate with him at that air show. Oh,
that's fantastic.
Yes.
See, I'd like to do that. I mean, we'll just have to make sure that the air show is not on that weekend. If it is, then I've already committed to the folks in Florida.
Of course.
But
of course.
I would definitely want to do that. I mean, the last air show I attended, I ended up flying with the Army's skydiving team. And that was like, whoa! I was in this F-27 Fokker, F-O-K-K-E-R, I'm not swearing, and the plane was a twin-engine plane, used a lot for skydivers and so forth, but this was a military one for the Golden Knights, and I was in the last seat, and the open door was right there next to me, so I got to look out the open door the entire flight. And the temperature in my seat, it was 90 on the ground, but with the wind chill, the temperature in my seat approached freezing. So it was very cold. You couldn't use your fingers after a while. You had to keep them, covered up and everything. So I ended up taking photographs of these guys jumping out of the plane. I got some really nice pictures. And I even have a picture of the two of these particular guys sitting next to each other, two of these skydivers. One of which ended up getting killed, and
Wow.
he got struck by the other guy because
Wow.
they do something called a crossover break, and when they did the crossover, they collided, and it was unfortunate, very unfortunate. But it ended up being a very nice tribute when I started talking about the guy and so forth. I felt that it was very important to remember what he did and all of his efforts. So, but that was pretty cool. And the Golden Knights have this tradition where the plane comes down to the ground before the last jumper hits the ground. Now, I knew that when I got into the plane, but I didn't know what it meant. It didn't register. We were at 12,500 feet when these guys jumped out. Okay, and they all go out of the plane, one after the other. Okay, now the plane's empty, and it's just me, another guy, and the two pilots, the pilot and co-pilot. And this plane is a plane big enough to hold about 25 people. Okay, between engine aircraft. So all of a sudden, the plane goes up on its back, and goes down. Whoa, goes straight down. And the pilot and the co-pilot are just talking back and forth to each other up front. And I'm watching the runway getting bigger, coming bigger and getting bigger and bigger in the front window. And I'm thinking, what the heck, And I'm banging my head. There's an oxygen tank behind my head, and I'm banging my head in this oxygen tank. And then they start doing these turns, these deep turns, these swooshing turns to try and now bleed off airspeed. And then they cross the runway with the wheels up at over 250 knots, which is just, very fast. This plane just comes, and then it goes zoom, and then they pitch up. It's called the pitch up to land. Then they pitch up at the end of the runway, go straight up in the air, and the plane just waits until it's almost to the top. It stops, and it just pivots over. And that's the point where I lost it. It was the most fun I had being airsick, I can tell you that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was really, really, it was bad. But I had a good time. I came out of the plane, shaky legs, and the guy said, "How'd you like it?" And I said, "Oh, it was good. It was fun. I had a good time." Are you okay? I'm fine. It was just, yeah.
Well, anyway, I've got to cut and run because I have to take someone out right now. But it's great to see you back, Mark.
Yeah,
streaming.
I'm so happy, Bill. Thank you for dropping by, incidentally, and joining up and coming in.
And for those that want to hear Mark's interview or his panel discussion with Ben Hansen and Karen, was Karen Broad part of that? Or
Well,
just you and Ben?
Karen is actually the owner of the International UFO Congress,
Okay.
and she does it with Alejandro. And she was there, and she's sort of like a powerhouse behind the scenes. She takes care of a lot of things and makes it all happen, and then when we come in, we do our thing because we have this UFO background that is crucial sometimes, and so we let that be known. We tell people about it. But I think it's going to be pretty interesting. I'll have to listen back to it because I remember it was kind of interesting. We had a lot of fun exchanges.
When I get off with you, I'm going to actually send you that Open Minds file.
Okay.
This way you have it. But for those that are listening and watching right now on SkyTour LiveStream, on KGRRadio.com tonight at 1 a.m. Eastern Time, it will be airing the Open Minds episode with Mark D'Antonio and Ben Hansen. The first 20 minutes of his show is a news segment, and then the last 40 minutes is going to be Alejandro's discussion with Mark D'Antonio and Ben Hansen. So if you can, go check it out. And Mark?
Hey, Bill, how long was that? How long was that particular segment?
Well, there's two 20-minute segments with, I believe, you and Ben.
Yes, okay. That wasn't our talk. That was actually our podcast that we did. That was the podcast with Alejandro.
Right.
That's what it was. It wasn't the talk. Our talk still, as far as I know, the talk didn't get recorded, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. I don't understand that part. I don't know if it's they should be doing. They
should have had a video video people there because we had stuff up on the screen to show them and everything. I had examples to show people. Ben had examples. Ben actually did a live test with his infrared system, showing the entire audience themselves in the infrared. And you could see some really interesting things. You could tell how people's circulation worked in their bodies because you could look at the face. And in some people, they didn't have a nose. Their nose was gone. And other people, it was bright. And other people, it was just black, gone. And it shows how the circulation works in some of these people, you know.
The thing that it kind of baffles me is if you're not doing something, if you're not streaming, if there's some type of copyright issue or licensing issue, and somebody else is streaming. So let's say the Treeford Music Festival was streaming their own event. You know, they had people involved, and you know they were charging whatever. But the thing is, you want to give this publicity. You want to get the information out there. You want people to see what's going on. Allow others to stream. Set it up. Get it out there.
Well, I did. I mean, I streamed it on Facebook because, not that, but that talk, because I was up there talking. And, you know, I wasn't going to just hand some stranger my phone in the audience and say, could you just stream me? Because then she would probably, you know, she or he would, like, after a while, forget about me and just put the phone in their pocket and make off with my phone. Or not. But the thing was, I couldn't stream it to SkyTour LiveStream anyway. So,
you know what it is, Mark? This is what they think. Well, why should we stream it if we're charging people to come here and see it, and then they can just sit at home and for free or for a fee?
Well, that's true. There's that.
You know, it's always, of course, it's always about the money issue. Of course, economics involved.
Yeah.
But still, it'd be nice, even if you can't, and you got to pre-record it and then release it at a later date, just so you have that part where people have to go there in person. But not everybody's going to drive across the country to go to an event.
No, you're right. That's right.
I mean, let's be real here. So I think it's just a matter of doing it. It's a complimentary thing. Just if it were up to me, it's just as far as publicity and getting this out there for people to become aware and just put it out there in social media, in the public domain.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what's most important, and to get more interest in the subject. For a person like you, for example, when you were here last year for Pine Bush.
Yeah.
People, and you weren't even really scheduled to talk outside. You just did a quick thing out in the tent before you did your main speech at night inside.
Right.
People were coming from everywhere, standing around to listen to Mark D'Antonio.
Well, you know, they were, you know, there was an interesting group of people there.
Don't be humble. That was the fact. They were interested about what you were saying. That's a fact.
Well, people do have a hunger for this knowledge. They want to know what's going on and how can they get answers to this, because this is really one of those things that is going to be kind of like the biggest event of history in the history of Earth when we actually make contact with another species. Mm-hmm. And for them to be here means they have to have technology that's so far beyond ours that I should say 50 years ago we would have said so far beyond ours. Now we say a little bit ahead of ours, because we can actually kind of see that we can be there. We can see that we can be at this technological level not too long, maybe about 100 years.
Do you think that they make, because you're going to be up on the podium, do you think they make, because I haven't even checked this, a wireless mic, but because of the input of my camera, I think your camera has a, what is it, the 1/8 inch, not 1/8 inch, quarter? What is the jack for the...
For what, the iPhone?
No, for the microphone on the Sony.
Oh,
what millimeter?
It's probably a little 1/8 inch jack. Yes.
Yes, the 8. Okay. Do you know if they make the 1/8 inch wireless that we could have a mic up on you and have it wireless into the camera? Or I don't think they do that, right?
Not wireless.
That's what I figured. I've got a mic that I can wire to, because I would love to record you on my camera on the Sony to be put up on SkyTour or whatever at a later date, and to tape your presentation and put it up there. Because of course I'll talk to her, Dominique, at Pine Bush and say, listen, I want to record everybody.
Well,
it's not live, but it will be put up on their on their YouTube sites or web pages at a later date.
Well, here's something that you might want to consider. There's an app that's visible down near the bottom of my phone there, and it might be a little out of focus, but it's well, you can't see it. Let me just start it up. Okay, it's Voice Record Pro. Okay. Voice Record Pro is actually a very high-end, for the iPhone, a very high-end digital recorder. You can, any of you who are listening to this can actually go out and get this on as an app for your phone. And what that does for you is it allows you to take perfect audio, and then you can integrate it later. You can save it, and then you could integrate it into a video, which can be done from 20 feet away. And you say, well, I can't hear the sound. Well, you just marry the two together in an editor.
I can do that.
Yeah.
I can definitely do that.
You mean you know how to do sound editing?
Well, look, you got somebody else coming in to hang. I see Keith just
Hey,
joined.
I see. Yeah, no, huh, Keith? Look at this.
All right, Keith, you should call in Mark because Bill has to chill and get out of here and drive, take a ride somewhere. So, Mark, it was great speaking with you. Great to see you back.
Likewise. I'm glad you're. Yeah. Thanks for coming in, man.
And I will talk to you later, and we'll figure out what's going on for your show this weekend. I'm sure you're working on the theme.
I am.
Topic for the show this coming Sunday.
I am.
It will be Easter Sunday.
So I am? Oh, yeah, I am. Yes. Yeah, I am. I've already got about half of it written already, actually. So cool. We'll be able to go through that.
Well, everyone, enjoy the SkyTour LiveStream that is watching, and everyone in the chat, have a great day, great night. Be blessed, be well, be safe.
I will say, I will say one thing, though, Bill. I got to say one thing before you go. I only just got back yesterday. Not in the night. Okay, but today during the day, I've seen so many weird black helicopters out. It's just crazy. So I don't know why they're in the area, but just letting you know, because you might hear. I don't even know if you heard this during the broadcast so far of this SkyTour LiveStream, but you might have heard a helicopter go by. I saw one, so I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy.
Well, something seems like it's going on in your neck of the woods.
I don't know. Maybe not. It could also be a guard weekend or something like that, or just coming back from an air guard weekend or something. But
now that you mention that, the National Guard base here has been active.
Has it?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on either, but something is definitely afoot.
Yeah, I don't know. It's nothing. Anyway, I want to thank you for coming in, Bill. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Because
quickly when I was doing
very cold,
an update about the work I was doing around the house for Pine Bush.
Yep.
There's a military helicopter flying in as I was filming.
Really?
Yeah, they're out there. They're out and about. They're more in abundance right now. I don't know what's going on, Mark.
Well, I can tell you this. Actually, this is true from I can tell you this. Not making this shit up. Oh, I said the bad word. I'm not making this stuff up. But I was actually here, and I thought maybe it was part of the validation for my security clearance that they had this helicopter out there. But there was this helicopter that had this pod on top of it, and it was hovering, probably about. It started about a quarter mile away, and then it got a little bit closer. Then it was so close that everybody else in the neighborhoods was noticing this. Okay, and then it just started circling my house, keeping itself pointed at my house, and it went all the way around my house.
Look what Keith wrote.
I know. And it circled all the way around my house, and I had assumed that this was part of the security clearance stuff. They do that. They overfly these different locations because my home has the security stuff and legalities tied to it. And but then then it took off right after it did that. And I waved to him, hey, I see you. But anyway, I thought that was...
He's in his dome now.
Yes, I am.
I don't even know if they can see a heat signature of you right now. You're so cold in there.
Well, yeah, it's a little... it's chilly.
Listen, don't get sick now.
No, I'm not. I actually was only in a sweatshirt, and I went back in and got warm again because I had to, warm up. But I'm going to actually... I'm going to shut the stream down shortly. I want to thank you guys for coming in. You too, Bill, of course. And
call me anything.
I will, and I want to thank you. And this was actually supposed to be a test, but it turned out to be an amazing success. I'm very happy about it.
Cool.
So I do want to. So Keith, be quiet. Okay. What was the exact title that got you banned? I want to use it tonight. No,
don't even say it.
Don't even say it. I'm not gonna. No.
Oh, anyway, I'm out.
All
Call
right,
me, you need me. I'll be here. If you talk to Amanda, tell her I said hello.
I will. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you later.
Mark.
All right. See ya. Yeah. So there we go. This is Tycho Crater, and I noticed that Daryl had said earlier that he got a Tycho Crater for me, and he did. He did not expect it, and it's because he actually did something very nice. He let me borrow a filter, and I kept it for a number of months. And when I finally sent it back, I put a little gift in there, and that was one of our 3D printed craters. And I picked this one you see in the screen, Tycho. It was just a lot of fun. And Keith really wants me to Skype him that title. Okay, I will give you the title. Okay, and I will Skype that to you. But the bottom line is that this stream that we're doing now is very successful. This is the new layout. To those of you who haven't seen it before, this is the new layout now for the SkyTour LiveStream. I have different software. It's a little better. And I also have some educational stuff I've added in. I've added in a lot of things like this for the different types of stars that we can talk about. And we're going to be seeing that here and there as we move through the season. All right. And so you get to see what the different stars values are, along with the temperatures and colors. And that'll be important when we actually start talking about some of these things. You'll actually get to see the data at the same time as hearing me talk about it, because sometimes you say, oh, and rightly so, you go so fast, we don't get to even think, and I agree. So it's gonna be a little bit different now, so we have a little bit more of these interactive things, and I'm going to be adding more interactive features to it as well. And thanks, Keith. Actually, it's a little bit long in coming. Okay, it's long. It took a long time. Yes, blue is very hot. Jen is right. It's the hottest, actually. Yep. And the B stars. Okay, this is so O stars are very hot, and they're very blue. But the B stars are a softer blue, but they're actually warm, very warm, and have a lot of ultraviolet radiation, hence the blue. And we'll talk about that once we get going here. In fact, I think for the next stream, what we may end up doing, if the moon is still out, we will be doing a discussion of star colors, and we'll talk about all this and make it even more, I should say, burned into your minds, so to speak, or fused into your brains. Okay, but I'm gonna go because I am going to go have dinner. I'm going to look at the stream and make sure that everything came out right, and then I'm going to then I guess warm up my feet. I wasn't prepared for how cold it got in here. It just got really cold in here today. Yeah, MMT. Yeah, that's the one that got it. I don't know why. That's all I can think. That's what it was. But so one more view of the moon here. I just think this is really pretty. Around the Terminator especially. Okay. And this is really nice. I just love it. Okay, and we made this crater too. We made Copernicus crater. Hey, come back here. We made Copernicus in a 3D print, and everyone, as I was saying, I said this before. Everyone that we showed these 3D prints to out in Boise, Idaho, because I brought a bunch out, they looked at the prints, and they said, "Wow, we don't see any of that jaggies, that rastering you get with these 3D prints, because 3D prints, as those of you that were here heard, they're made in layers, and those layers will have a stepped look to them, especially on a slope. Okay, it'll go up and over, up and over, up and over to get near the top, and so that's pretty cool. But if you don't want those to show, you have to get rid of them. And to get rid of them, you have to either sand them down, melt them down, or fill in between the jaggies and then smooth. And that's what we chose to do. It's a much longer process, but every crater that we do, it comes out looking so real. And so when people picked up my 3D prints, and this Boise, Idaho hack fort, where hackers and 3D printer folks were, they just couldn't believe how clean and beautiful this lunar imagery was. And they said, well, it's the same as on Mars that we make, and the same as on Pluto. It's just beautiful stuff. So our process, our technique is working. So just remember, if you want one of these, you can get one on the fxmodels.com site. You can go to our store there, and we offer them there. You can also get them on the FX Models Planetary Replicas page, if you like. And I'm just saying that because, you know, I think that they're really nice, and they're a great addition to other space paraphernalia that you may have. And my view is that since we have this data available, why not use it, right? And that's just what we're going to do. So for now, I'm going to thank you all for dropping by. It's very important to me that you're here. I'm glad that you were. And I will talk to you a little bit later, all right? So I will talk to you, let's see, I'm not sure. I mean, it's going to be a beautiful, clear night tonight, but it's going to be cold. But if I warm up enough, I might come out and start again. So I'll see, okay? All right. In that case, just remember, keep looking up, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for coming, guys. See ya.